This video will be focusing on the changing roles of women throughout the 1760s and 1870s.
This video project has been created by Ashley and Hannah.
The role of women were mainly impacted socially. Women were expected to stay home and take care of the children while maintaining the home. Women were also the primary spiritual instructors within the household.
Women also had to be submissive to men. Their identity and property were also always connected to the father until they were married. The newlywed woman became known as the female cover, which is a female that is now married. Women also did not have the right to any public education.
Most activities that women participated in included spinning, weaving, and turning. They mainly served as seamstresses, nurses, or midwives.
And finally, women were sometimes referred to as female sole trader. This allowed for women to run their own business to support themselves financially.
In 1769, women could not own property or reap the benefits from the land. And in 1777, all states passed laws which took away all women's rights to vote in the United States. And finally, in 1809, the first woman received a patent.
Another event was the creation of the Lau Girls, founded by Frances Cabot Lau in 1826. This was the largest industrial town in the U.S. and hired young women for all but supervisory jobs. He thought that women would accept lower wages. Also, in 1839, the first state, which was Mississippi, grants women to hold property in their own names with permission from the husbands.
The biggest and most significant event in women's history was the Seneca Falls Convention. The cause of the convention included women being taxed without representation, even though men had the right to vote. They were also paid less than their men co-workers, and they overall experienced unfair treatment due to their gender.
The Seneca Falls Convention took place in Seneca Falls, New York on July 1920, 1848. A few famous attendees included Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucretia Mott, and Frederick Douglass. This convention was intended to raise the concern of unfair treatment towards women. 300 people attended, including 40 men.
The Seneca Falls Convention had impactful results. It upheld the creation of the Declaration of Sentiments based on the Declaration of Independence, which listed 18 grievances and 11 resolutions demanding the recognition of women as equal members of society.
Other results that followed the convention were the beginning of the women's suffrage movement and the criticism from the press, which led to nationwide attention over the controversy.
Important leaders of the movement were Anne Hutchinson, and she was the believer of biblical teachings that gave her freedom of speech. And also Abigail Adams, wife of President John Adams and mother of John Quincy Adams, who influenced John Adams' political decisions by favoring women by writing letters to him. Also Dorothea Dix, who led the prison reform. And finally, Harriet Beecher Stowe, who spoke for both men and women slaves, resulting in her written book of Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Other important leaders included Susan B. Anthony, who was a campaigner for gender equality. Another important woman is Clara Barton. She was the creator of the Red Cross and was a nurse to aid soldiers in the Civil War.
During the Civil War, women served as nurses, which included medical aid, surgeries, and supplying necessities for the soldiers. The women of the Red Cross movement, and the leader was Clara Barton, saw the need for healing on both sides of the war, which resulted in many lives of soldiers saved. The women were also spies and soldiers who dressed as men and abolitionists. They engaged in supplying food, clothing, medical supplies, and even money for fundraising, which resulted in helping the troops.
In 1868, Congress passed the 14th Amendment, which states that only males had the right to vote. All women, regardless of race, were not considered to be protected under the law. And finally, the 15th Amendment was granted, stating that all white and black men 21 and older had the right to vote. This amendment caused women to step up even more in their changing roles in America. The rights for women would soon be showed and validated in the 1900s and even through the 2000s.
We hope you enjoyed this video presentation focusing on the changing roles of women between the 1760s and 1870s.